Hi, Brian Houghton. Question is about Cian, but maybe for the rest of the panel. Do you think that the way he's played this last season and started again this season, there should be some international recognition in the pipeline?
Ask him first. No, ask him. He should get called.
I think when you look at the international setup in Ireland, these going to the real Premier League Championship players. I think at the minute I don't think it's something obviously that I'd love to do and love to be a part of. But at the minute I don't think it's something that's going to happen. Well, you never know. But I think when you look at the centre halves, the Republic have, I think it's the majority of them are either Premier League or Championship centre half. So I'm just focused on doing my job at Fleetwood and let the rest take care of itself.
We've got one, Billy Grande, called up for England. Under 17s, yeah? Or under 18s?
Yeah, it'll be released in the press probably the next couple of days, but it's fantastic news that fantastic news. It was one I've actually got it on my iPad here, but yeah, we've got from the academy. We've got a fantastic setup, as you know, down at Poolfoot, and it's probably a bit of luck on our behalf that one of our own here from Fleetwood and Fleetwood Juniors has jumped straight into the ranks and developed at such a rapid rate of knots. But in the next couple of days, we're very proud to announce that Billy's been called up for the England. It's not a minor nation; it's England under 18. So I'm not talking about error there, by the way, would you? That we've got a boy within the group who will be called up for England under 18s, and he'll start in that squad. Whether he starts or not, it's still fantastic. And they play Brazil a week on Friday, and he'll be amongst the big squad of 34, which will get trimmed down to about 24, and those 24 will go to India in October for the under 17 World Cup. The fact they're under 18s now, they're under 17s at the time of the under 17s World Cup starting the qualifiers. So fingers crossed we might have a Fleetwood boy in the England World Cup squad, fingers crossed. But fantastic news which will be released in the next 24-48 hours.
Although I must stress that came on an email saying strictly private and confidential. So if anybody in the room can maybe not mention it for another couple of days, pretend you've not heard that, that'd be great. Anybody else?
Question for both of the players. What's the best thing about playing for Fleetwood Town?
Better get myself a few brownie points here. The best thing about playing here. Tell you what, you've got me there. First time I've been speechless since I've joined the club. No, obviously it's the facilities you're coming into work for. You know, the team that we're my teammates. You know, we've got a great group of lads actually. You know, the way we play, you know, it's credit to the manager, the staff, and you know, it's a club on the up, and you know, when you see the facilities that we do have, you know, if you didn't enjoy driving into work, well, myself personally, then you know, there's a serious problem. So you know, I just love getting out there and playing, and you know, being part of this team it makes it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, the big thing for me, I think, is the dressing room. I think it's probably the best dressing room I've ever been involved in, and obviously with the manager and the staff as well. You enjoy coming into work every day. I think the team spirit that we've built over the last year, 18 months, it's a big thing. For me anyway, that's the big thing, the team spirit we have within amongst the staff and the players. There's a real bond, so I think for me that's the most enjoyable thing.
There's a question on email from John, and this is a question I've asked probably myself as well, so it's actually quite interesting. You'd probably be interested. Bobby, you always go over to speak to a little girl after games. Who is it, and is it a superstition?
Do you know what? No, she's here tonight. She's over there. And it's not a superstition, no, it's, you know, when you turn round and you look up to see you shouting Bobby, and, you know, she's that small, God love her that, you know, you can't see her. But, no, listen, I've got a relationship with young Summer over there, and, you know, her parents, and, you know, I think it's very refreshing that she's here every game, and, you know, when you see that smile on her face, it puts it into perspective.
Top man. Question for both players on email. Who would you, in your opinion, class as the most talented player in the squad, and why? Can't pick yourself. Most talented.
I think I'm going to be diplomatic here, but I think that we've not got. If you look at it on a Saturday, we've not got too many players that are like stand out. I think we're just a well organised team. I think like there's obviously 1 or 2 players that can produce a bit of magic, but I think 1 to 11 on a Saturday, everyone's capable of doing something. So I don't think that you can't really say there's too many that are just going to turn up every Saturday and rip teams apart. I think as a team, that's what we do. So unless you might be different.
Oh, I'm the same as him. Even though he told me to say it, Connor thinks he is, but he's. No, listen. We're a group, and you know we stick up for each other out there. And as Cian said, you've got your match winners, and you know we. Not one of them takes the credit. You know, as Connor and Devante scored 2 the other day. They didn't come in the dressing room and take all the credit. It's about the team, and you know that's credit to ourselves, and you know the manager and the staff. Who, you know, it's not about an individual game. If you want to be successful, you've got to be together as a group.
Brilliant. Back out to the room. Yeah.
Harrison, Bryson, this is for Uwe. Is there going to be any more transfers, and what position would it be?
Has Rosie told you to ask that?
No, I said when nobody goes out, I don't think that anybody comes in. So I think we are, I said that before, I'm happy with the numbers. I think I don't want the massive squad where players are demotivated by not being on the bus on the match day. So we have a good squad, but not too big. Every player sees a chance to play when he trains hard and when he plays well. And I like that scenario. I don't want to have too many unhappy people around the place. What affects then the group. Obviously, like I said, the transfer window is open, and you never know what happened. That also depends then if somebody come in or not.
Just to add, after the break, Greta Steinson will be joining us, the technical director. So any questions on transfers and things like that, Greta's, I dare say, the man to fire them towards. Hands up, anybody else? Back.
Sorry, Uwe, it's another question for you. It's on behalf of my wife, who's not here tonight. Behind me, she's a season ticket holder. First game of the season, Rotherham, after 60 minutes or so, Conor McElhaney, great new signing, scored a fantastic second goal. You substituted him. After about 60 seconds after the restart, he came back into the substitutes area, immediately below where we were sitting. And you put your hand around his neck and you were whispering something to him. What did you say?
Well, it's well spotted. Being a striker by myself in the past, when you score 2 goals and you play like he did on the day, obviously you want to stay on and get your hat-trick. I have completely understanding for that. On another side, me as a coach, I need to see the bigger picture. Corner had Corn had a good pre-season. He came already in a good shape to us. He hardly missed one training session throughout the whole summer, what was very pleasing for me. But we also have the duty to keep him fit and keep him as much as we can on the pitch, especially when you see his record. And I was just thinking, we're still early on in the season. He's probably not by 100%, but not far off. And I just didn't want to risk anything because we played Tuesday Carlisle in the Cup. In my mind, I had already that he'd be part of that game. And I felt that is also what I have to deal with. I think my job is also to try to keep the players motivated, and it's not only about the guys who are starting on Saturdays. Also for me it's very important about the guys who are on the bench. They need to see the chance to bring their qualities on the pitch. And last year we had the luxury, especially in the first half, when we had the first half of the season, we had 5 strikers, or 6 strikers even, for 3 positions, and we rotated very well, and that benefited us. We got a lot of late goals in the game. We killed opposition by bringing 2 fresh strikers on when we was leading, and we caused a lot of problems to the opposition by doing that. And to do that, you need to keep them also playing, you know. And it was a combination of many things what led it into me that, okay, I take him off, because I felt for the bigger picture will benefit us in the next weeks to come. What I say to him, I said I'm completely understanding that you're disappointed, but we will talk about it tomorrow, and that's what we did.
This evening we've also been going out at the start anyway, live on Facebook. Luckily the Billy Crown bit wasn't, but the rest of it's been going out on Facebook, and it's prompted a couple of questions, and this is a question for the 3 gentlemen on the end of the table. What are Andy, Steve and Uwe, sorry, this is from Stephen Long. What are Andy, Uwe and Steve's thoughts on the potential closure of the transfer window earlier next season? There's a lot of talk about this. There's talk that if you're not aware that they're going to try and close it before the season starts rather than a month into the season. What are your thoughts on it? Would you welcome it?
Well, my thoughts would be, if that was the case, we would have to set our stall out to do our business early. We'd have to make sure that our squad had sufficient quantity and quality within it to take us through to when the window reopens at Christmas. We have an incredibly talented group of young players, our development squad. That is very important now with the modern game, with the transfer window closing, even as it does currently on August the 31st. We know that we don't have the luxury of just picking the phone up and borrowing a player from the Premier League or from the Championship, as we have done historically. It does create the kind of culture whereby we have to develop our own players. Myself as chairman, I like that because I think it assists in the pathway and the stepping stone that the younger players have through to the first team. The development squad are doing really, really well. They won away 3-2 at Preston yesterday, and our strategy is that we have to use those players once the window is closed, and as they prove time and time again, they're very capable, and hopefully they are the stars of the future.
Just from my side, I don't think for us it will an awful lot of difference, other than the fact that you tend to find that with our season ending at the end of May, people do like a bit of a holiday. So if you bring in the transfer window forward, most people are on holiday, so they have to basically have no holiday in this country to do it. I think it's more linked to the international and the European clubs whose leagues start later, and it can be completely out of sync with the Premier League season. So I think the practicalities are probably zero, given that it's a general European window for the European winter league. So I can't see it ever taking traction. I know what clubs are wanting to do, have stable squads, but I think it's just part and parcel of the game that the movements would still be occurring, but yeah, granted they would be just before the kick-off.
I see.
Hello, yeah. I would welcome it. That was also one of the reasons why I'm very happy to be here, because behind the scenes the club has a very well-run structure in place. On the recruitment side, in any department, what a lot of people don't expect from a club for the size of Fleetwood Town. We are very structured behind the scenes. We are planning in advance. We always try to do our business early. At times when we try to do business early, you have to pay a premium. But when you wait too long, people try to use the transfer deadline as a circus. What gets the prices up, what people try to panic, and the biggest mistakes I did in recruitment was always on the transfer deadline day. So I don't like that circus, and I think for us as a club we will benefit from that, because we are in our structure well ahead of most League One clubs, and we are then capable of doing our business earlier, because players then don't wait to get more wages in the end when people are panicking. The only disadvantage I can see is with the Premier League players we try to get on loan, the clubs don't let them out because they are sometimes on pre-season tours in the Far East or in Asia, so that come then across to a point where you might miss out on that on one or two players.
Right, we're getting towards the break point, mainly because I can see there's a lot of empty glasses out there, and we've got bar staff desperate to take your money. So can we have a couple more questions? Is there any left for the players? Maybe about a few more questions, and then we'll have a bit of a break and we'll get into the nitty-gritty about the club. Is there any more questions for the players? Right, well I'll ask some then. Oh, there you go.
My name's Brian. Bobby, from my point of view, the support of Fleetwood is very, very poor, considering how well we've done. What do you think about the size of the crowds? Are you disappointed or? Sorry.
No, do you know what? I don't know how to comment on that, but the fans that do turn up on a Saturday have been absolutely fantastic for us. You know, the ones behind the goal who don't stop singing, you know, the lads really do appreciate it, and you know, it really does help us. You know, if we're winning, we enjoy putting a show on. If we're getting beat, you help us get back in the game, and you know, I can only urge them to come out and support us, because you know, we're playing a brand of football now that, you know, a lot of Fleetwood fans wouldn't have seen before, and you know, to add to that, we're being successful on the pitch, we're winning games, and you know, if you're winning games, then you know, that should hopefully encourage not just younger people but everyone in the town, and you know, to come and watch the games. And you know, listen, the supporters that turn up, we're very thankful for, and you know, even if the crowd isn't as big as like people would like, it's, you know, it's massive on the pitch for us, and you know, I just want to say we really do appreciate you turning up for us every Saturday.
Bobby's now had 3 rounds of applauses, that's incredible. Cian, on Saturday you returned to one of your old clubs. I was just looking, you played for Bristol Rovers 3 times, although you played quite a few games for them. How do you see the game going on Saturday?
It's going to be another tough test. I think every game in this league this year is going to be a tough test, but I've still got some good friends down there, so it'd be nice to go down and see some familiar faces, but to be obviously going down there to do a job and get 3 points, but it's going to be another tough test. We've done our preparation over the last couple of days, and we know what to expect when we go down there. It's going to be a pretty hostile atmosphere, but we're confident we can go down and do a job and come back with 3 points.
One more question, there you go.
So Cian, how does it feel being Magic?
You've done me with that one. Magic, I don't know if I can call myself Magic now, but yeah, no, it's appreciated. song, and obviously I think that's what you're referring to. No, listen, it's appreciated. It's yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's done.
just on that note, as players, do you notice the songs that the fans make up about you? Obviously, there's quite a creative one that we can't repeat on the microphone about Cian. But do you notice the songs the fans sing, and is there any that particularly make you laugh, or like, do you think to yourself when you're playing, do you hear them?
Yeah, you do. You know, I find myself singing them sometimes. I shouldn't say this when the manager's here, but when he's shouting at me, and sometimes I'm singing Cian's songs. But oh, it does help, and you know, it's always nice when you get your name sang by the fans, and you know, I'm sure Cian will agree when his name gets sang. It's always nice. It's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, just to second what Bob said, I think me personally, I don't really hear it in the game. I kind of zone out of what's coming from the terraces, but it's you see it on social media and things like that after, and it is like Bobby said, it's very much appreciated. And but like I said, me personally, I don't hear it in 90 minutes.
Brilliant. Any more questions before we have a break and we let the players go? Well, on that note then, maybe a round of applause for Cian Bolger and Bobby Grant. Like I say, we'll be having a 15-minute or 10-15-minute break, then get to the bar.